Hey guys, what's going on? In today's video, I wanted to give you some advice on how to become a better builder in Minecraft. For me, I found that I was actually very much influenced by how other people would actually be building their Minecraft world. Whenever I was watching a lot of other YouTubers build their world, I would want to build my worlds the same exact way. And what ends up happening is you burn yourself out because you feel like, oh, I can't really build the same way they can, or, whatever the issue may end up being. So my number one tip is you have to develop your own original sense of style and try not to let other YouTubers kind of influence the way that you play Minecraft. So with that first tip out of the way, I do want to say that this video is done live, and it's going to be a little bit of a yappy type of video here. I know it's such vague advice to say, oh, find your own style. So for me, my style is I don't even know how to put my style into words, right? I'm just somebody who really likes throwing amethyst everywhere and landscaping and decorating and things. But yeah, if you're somebody who likes to build more modern, if you're somebody who likes to build more fantasy type stuff, you just have to figure out what it is that you enjoy building the most and just go with that, really. So before I get into the next tip, I want to give a huge shout out to my friend Tori and my friend CPZ for giving me their dog name suggestions. And CPZ is actually a channel member. So if you're interested in becoming a channel member, you get to see all my videos a couple days early, and you get access to exclusive emojis and channel badges next to your name that were designed by my friend Aaliyah. So I'll leave a link for that in the description, or you can click the join button on this video. So as you're building your Minecraft world, one of the main issues you might run across is actually coming up with ideas. I was just kind of walking through my world, and what I noticed was like this cave was really boring, and I haven't really done anything with it in a while, so I thought it'd be really cool to just totally turn the roof like dark, and at least from this angle it almost looks like the cave extends upward infinitely. If I turn off shaders now, it looks like the roof is completely gone in this cave. So a lot of this world really came about when I was just sort of bored, and I really just started building random things. So that's something that you can do if you ever run out of ideas, is just build something. I tend to notice that if I just focus on building something, not necessarily planning it, more and more ideas kind of come out of it. So for example, this cave, the idea was, oh, I'll just black out the roof. And then I was like, oh, another idea I can do off of that is I can start adding a gradient. So I went from black terracotta to polished blackstone to tough, and then to deep slate and regular stone and things. And then I was like, okay, now it looks cool, but it'd be cool to add nighttime like stars in the sky, right? So that's just different things you can do. The more you kind of play in your Minecraft world and the more you build, the more ideas you'll kind of get from it. So if you're ever struggling to find ideas, give yourself random projects. So I can kind of show you some examples of random projects I've given myself over the years I've had this world. But what's kind of interesting with this world is it started off as a survival world. But as you can see, I'm currently playing in creative mode because recently I was getting really bored of survival mode. I just felt like I had done everything I wanted to do. So I decided to actually come in and start playing creative mode. And for the longest time, I actually had sort of a phobia of creative mode because I felt like, oh, if I play creative mode, then that's cheating. And this again goes back to the point of how YouTube really influences how we interact with media and play video games. Most Minecraft content on YouTube these days revolves around challenges such as playing on hardcore mode. For a long time I felt like, oh, if I play creative mode then I'm sort of missing the point of Minecraft. If you've been playing on survival mode for a long time and you feel a little bit bored of it, there's literally nothing wrong with coming in and playing creative mode. Like, a world that's built in creative mode is not any less impressive than a world that's built in survival or a world that's built in hardcore. If you play on peaceful mode, that doesn't mean your world is any less impressive than somebody who plays on the hardest difficulty. That's just kind of a random tip, not necessarily a building tip. More of a practical building tip I can sort of throw in here is the idea of adding depth. So this pathway leads us perfectly to a great example of how I use depth to make a build look really cool. But this pathway is actually an example of giving myself a random project. This world I'm on has tons and tons of these pathways that literally just at first would lead to nowhere, but as I was building the pathways, I would kind of come up with stories for my world about where they would lead. And that's kind of how I get more and more ideas. It's just by building things and spending time in my world. So if we take a look at my tavern here, it's kind of a wacky shaped building, which is another tip I can sort of get into, how you can come up with really cool freestanding builds like this. But the main thing I want to point out here is the use of depth and the use of different blocks. So a way to make a build look really nice is adding depth. So things like stairs, things like walls, putting your door on the innermost block, and even interior details like here where I have a balcony, using upside down stairs to give it a little bit of a ledge. So adding depth to your builds is going to be the main way that you make things look great. And if I quickly turn off shaders here, I honestly prefer the game without shaders on, but I like to keep them on for the video. I know people enjoy seeing this world with shaders, but just to show that you don't necessarily need shaders to make a world look good. I very much love this world even without shaders. I think it has a really beautiful charm and aesthetic to it. So quickly turning the shaders back on, I actually want to head over to this building over here. I feel like this building is a perfect example of something that looks really nice and looks really well planned out. But if we quickly fly in here, you can see it's totally empty and it's really just a facade. So from afar, it almost looks like this building was very well planned out, and I took a lot of time actually building it out. This was something that I had built during a video, and I was just kind of yapping very much like what I'm doing now. But all I did was I really just followed the landscape around it. The very basic outline, like I came in with stone bricks, and sort of a little building trick I want to throw in here because I didn't know it for the longest time was if you look at a block and you middle click it with your mouse, it'll actually give you whatever block you're looking at. So that's just a fun little trick you can use in creative mode. But what I did was I just sort of followed around the natural terrain here with my stone bricks, and it gave the build a very unique and interesting shape. And then from there I kind of built up and I slowly added details. So that's another tip. Start off very simple and then come in after the fact and decorate. Once I sort of learned that, that's when my builds really started to take off, and I really saw immediate improvement in my builds. And again, another pathway here where I just sort of I wanted to spend time in my world. Something I often do is I love to have a podcast or my favorite YouTubers playing in the background, and I'll just kind of build. And this pathway just kind of leads through the woods to that house and then eventually to my base there, right? And again, another example of just a random project I gave myself because honestly, the more time you spend playing Minecraft and building, the better you'll get over time. When I first started this world, I had no idea what I was doing, and I think compared to most YouTubers out there, I still don't. I'm not the most advanced builder, but I just kind of build what I think is cool, and what brings me the most joy and excitement is just building and being creative. I very much view Minecraft as this sort of creative outlet, because again, Minecraft is just sort of a sandbox game. It's really up to you how you want to play it, whether you want to play it as a survival experience or whether you want to sort of use it as this creative little outlet where you can just build and paint a world per se. Because I can't really paint, and I've always been jealous of people who could actually draw and paint. So Minecraft is like my version of creativity. So another thing coming down here, another thing I really want to point out for a great way of coming up with build ideas and how to actually improve your buildings overall is coming up with a story for your builds. So when I first started building on this world, I would just build things and I didn't really have a plan for it, right? As I played this world for years, I got kind of bored. So one of the ways I would entertain myself with the world and keep me playing it was I would actually come up with stories. So for example, this ruined little castle here, I don't have like an exact story for it, but the idea was there's a ruined castle here, and if you like made your way to it, you'd find this hidden little stash room underneath where maybe some sort of rogue type person was living in. Giving your world a story gives you a reason to build things. So coming back to this pathway here, leading from my tower out here, in my imagination I was like, oh, it'd be really cool if this was like a really long pathway. I was thinking after you take like a super long journey from the tower over here, it'd be nice to have a little tavern to stop at. That's kind of how this build came about. So giving your world like a little bit of lore or a little bit of a storyline to follow really helps you come up with more and more ideas. So I realize this video is very, very general advice, and it's not like I'm not really giving you a step-by-step guide on how to build in Minecraft. And that's very much intentional. I think if I was to just sort of give you like a step-by-step tutorial on how to build maybe every single thing in this world, sure, you'd be able to build what I had built, but the goal with this video is I really want you guys to find your own style and really embrace it and really go with it. Even though I know my world isn't maybe the most impressive thing compared to YouTube standards, to me it's just a long-term project that I've been playing on for a long time. And it's something I'm proud of. It's something that I had fun building and I still have fun playing on to this day. And I really want you guys to have the same experience, right? Or have a similar experience where you have a world that you've kept for a long time and you keep coming back to or playing on and improving. Like I was saying, when I started this world in survival mode and kind of played through it, it was one of the, I didn't really know how to build, right? So I remember one of the first freestanding things I built was actually these village homes. And I feel like they turned out pretty good, but you can see I was kind of experimenting with depth and different things like that, like adding windows in the roof and different materials and stuff. But really these houses are just, you know, 5x5 squares, and then I decorated them after the fact and add depth after the fact. The kind of tips and tricks I'm sharing with you guys are just things that I learned over time. I think for me, I have a very just free-form kind of approach to playing Minecraft and to life in general, really. I feel like Minecraft is best enjoyed if you, you know, you don't necessarily have to watch a tutorial for everything you want to build. YouTube is good for a lot of things. You can come up with a lot of ideas and maybe there's specific things that you want to build and you aren't quite sure, and YouTube is great for that. But I think in a lot of ways, when Minecraft really becomes fun and when you really become a good builder is when you find your style. You know, that thing that you like building even though it doesn't make sense. You know, for me, my main thing is I love lighting. That's sort of my main thing. So you can see here I have amethyst shards and stars literally thrown everywhere. These stars are another example of just giving myself random things to build and then more ideas came out of it. So the original stars were the ones that were above my base, and it's kind of hard to really see it from this angle. It only looks right from a certain angle, but the stars above my base are actually the Pleiades constellation, which was part of my zodiac sign, which was something I was into at the time. And I was like, oh, you know what? It'd be really cool to do the same thing, but just along the pathways, right? And that's why there's amethyst shards just thrown all over my base. But maybe for you, maybe your thing isn't amethyst. Maybe you like to build other things. So that's the whole point, is just trying to figure out what it is that you like building. And it's really hard to sort of put that into words, like how to find your style. But it is just something that you have to be patient with and you have to give yourself time. You know, don't be in such a huge rush to be like a quote good builder in Minecraft. There's no rush, man. It's not like Minecraft is serious. It's just supposed to be a fun game that you play like after you had a long day at work or school. You know, it's even funner if you have a Minecraft world with your friends that you can all play on and join a server with each other. And that's what it's all about, man. It's just a sandbox. You're just supposed to have fun with it. This world, maybe to some people it looks really cool. Don't look at my world and think, oh, I have to build something that's as good or is better than Nick's world, and I have to do it all in one day. I've been playing on this world for a little while now, and it's just slowly grown, and I'm still adding things. There's still bits and pieces to this world that haven't been quite done up, right? So, you know, be patient. Think of your Minecraft world, think of your building as just a long-term project. Not necessarily a building trick, but a tip I wanted to give you guys. If you ever get bored of Minecraft, is don't be afraid to take a break. I've taken many breaks from this world. Even though I've had the world for 2 years, I probably only have like a couple days of actual playtime in the world. Minecraft is one of those games that's very cyclical, meaning you're gonna have times when you really want to play Minecraft, and you're also gonna have times when you really don't want to play Minecraft. So don't be in such a rush to feel like you have to play Minecraft all the time and that you have to like be amped up to play. Because sometimes you do just need a break from playing the game. So I guess this sewer system I walked through is actually a good example of, like I was saying in the beginning, try not to let YouTube videos kind of sway you or influence you too badly, but that isn't to say that you can't take ideas from YouTube videos and add it to your world. So a YouTube video I saw was of this guy, and he was showcasing like a sewer system he built underneath his world, and I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. So I didn't really copy his sewer system that he made, but I took that idea and applied it to my world, right? So that's something you can do. Maybe as you're watching this video, you might see something that inspires you, I've gotten comments that say they really like the constellation above my base and they've built it in their own world. So things like that, you can take bits and pieces of a Minecraft video and add it to your own world. But the main thing is like, don't feel the need that you have to copy everything or that you have to build a certain way in order for it to be like a quote good build. I don't really even think there is necessarily a good build. There's just builds that are very textured, or there's builds that are very detailed, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're any better than somebody who likes to build very simply, kind of like how I do. My builds are very like blocky and not the most well-planned things in the world. They very much represent like the kind of moods I was in at the time, which is another little tip I want to throw in here is you can kind of build how you feel. At least with art or maybe music, it's a very common idea for people to make songs about how they're feeling at the time or paint something that represents their feelings. I kind of do the same thing in Minecraft. I know that sounds very cheesy and kind of stupid. Maybe you're in your moody era, right? Like I sometimes am. Something you can do is maybe build something that's a little bit more dark or something that isn't super vibrant. Like whenever I was building this world, you can see I have a lot of cherry blossoms and it's very well lit, right? Because I was in a very optimistic mood when I built a lot of this stuff. So I feel like the cherry trees and the bright lighting and the stars and everything really represents that. Yeah, really taking how you feel and kind of building it into your world, I think not only makes your world more special, but I think it's how you can come up with even better build ideas. And I think you end up with very unique builds this way because you're the only person who can experience life like you. Everyone experiences life in their own unique ways, so being able to take those unique experiences and feelings and thoughts and put it into a world, I think that's what makes a world good and that's what makes a world special. I think nowadays on YouTube we see so many builds that are considered good, right? Because maybe they have a lot of depth or a lot of detail put into them. You know, if a build feels unique, even if it's not the most well-detailed thing in the world, I think to me that's what makes a build good. Something I do pretty often is I actually love to go on YouTube and look up really old Minecraft world tours, like on beta 1.7.3 or maybe even alpha versions of Minecraft, because the style of building back in those days was very like blocky and by today's standards they would not be considered good, but back in like the old days when Minecraft was first coming out, there wasn't really set building standards, and I love to watch old videos like that because it sort of puts me back in the headspace of being like, oh okay, you know, my builds don't have to be perfect or even quote good looking, they just have to have like a special type of charm to them. So that's something you can do. And I feel like it'll help you get into a really good creative headspace, is just watching old videos. If you grew up playing Minecraft, what were the type of things that you were building when you were a kid, right? How are you playing Minecraft when you were a kid? Because I feel like for a lot of people, including myself, that was when Minecraft felt the most fresh and we felt the most creative about things. So another building tip I want to throw in here, looking at this gatehouse is a prime example of this, is that sometimes your builds don't go according to plan and you really have to build like I was saying, you have to kind of follow your gut with things. So starting off very simply, I started off with just a 7x7 square on this side and a 5x5 square on this side. I did have the idea of a gatehouse in mind before I started, right? But I started off very simple, just with two rectangles or two squares, and then I connected them with a rectangle over the top here. And then I came in after the fact and added in different blocks and windows and stairs to add depth to everything. And as I was building, I had two towers originally, but I was kind of thinking I really wanted this tower to be like more decayed and overgrown. But that's an idea that I could only come up with as I was building, right? So kind of touching back onto what I was saying earlier, where you kind of have to build in order to come up with more ideas. And so anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this more yappy, rambly type video. I just got done working a pretty long shift at work and didn't have the best day at work, but I really wanted to record something because I felt like it could really help people. And let me know what you guys have been building or what you're up to. I'd love to read about it, and feel free to overshare because I love when people share what they're passionate about and what they're building. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see y'all in the next one.